Good morning, World History Cardinals. Today is day 2, January 12th, and this will be your pre-recorded video for today's lesson, U1L2, that is all about bias in history. Now, yesterday we went into a conversation on bias and prejudice, being able to recognize it by examining the lunchroom fight. Most of you got the chance to pretend that you were a principal, and then you filled out the suspension report in order for you to decide the punishment of Justin and Max. You also were introduced to a video, Why Do We Study History? The first video you watched was an introduction, and you wrote your expressions in the warm-up. After that, at the end of it, you were also given an Edpuzzle version of the same video with 8 embedded questions. I do understand that there were some complications with that, but it is okay. I will just write the questions in another method so that you can have access to it. But after that, you were meant to continue the decades. That video stopped in 2016, and you were responsible for doing 2 Google slides that encaptured a summary of 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. The first slide was to be in prose form with words, articles, word clouds, all types of discussions, your own personal thoughts. The second Google slide was supposed to be based on images. Some of you have already turned that in. Excellent job. And you had it categorized, and that was what you put on your slide, and it was amazing. So keep those good things in mind. Today, I want you to follow with me on the home page. I'm in student view so you can get an idea of what it looks like for you. On the home page, I've made some changes to the narrative and removed the rosebud thorn because, I told you that Sunday was the last day for that. It says, welcome to Miss Wall's class. We're going to continue to use this space to learn together in new and exciting ways. So the information that you need to know today is that we're in our first school week, and your counselors have already started giving you the links to start registration. So if you would, look closely on your Canvas World History homepage and come over to the left-hand margin. You'll see the word Announcements. When you click that, you will come to this first site that says Registration for 2021 to 2022. If you did not get the chance to do that yesterday, please click on the link to start part 1 and then click on the link this morning to start part 2. Okay. After that, it says our first flipped classroom experience was okay, but I think it will improve as we go. We're going to scroll to begin to click here to get into the lesson, which is on this word called spice, and in a few minutes you'll understand what that means. You will need paper, like your notebook from our class, and something to write with. Finally, before I go into detail, if you were in a group and you did your optic activity and you did not turn it in to me via email, please do so I can go ahead and start giving points for those students who did that. All right, here we go. We're going to enter here. Unit 1 is what we click, and that brings us to today's date. Lesson 2, Spice, 1/12/21. If you would read the essential question, which says, how do historians analyze civilizations? But then afterwards, you would write down the goal statement in your notes. I can look at history through different historical lenses. SPICE stands for social, political, innovations, culture, and economy. Okay? You can use those lenses to understand why civilizations differ from one another. So today in class, you will begin with a review and bias in history, take notes on SPICE, and then create a SPICE poster. This is going to be your first formal assignment. You will choose a country of your choice and apply your new learning. Let's go find out. Your warm-up Answer the question, what is bias and how does it influence history? Write your answer and then respond to 2 other peers. Click next. And so now you're introduced to the SPICE presentation. You will take notes on each of these slides. Why study history? The 5 themes of history. And here are the definitions for each. So all of this information you will take notes on. You will go on into looking at bias in history. How has bias and prejudice affected us in the past? You have to measure which view is biased. You also get the definition of primary and secondary sources. Pay close attention to that. And then here's a student sample of some annotated notes we used to do while we were in school. If you guys are familiar with note taking, this is more or less like an interactive notebook where you take things and you copy and paste it inside your notes. You will need to copy this. This is a summary of all of those slides. Which leads me to the project. You will have 5 days to complete a flyer brochure for a country that includes all elements of SPICE. You need 5 images minimum and a short description of each element. So whatever you choose, whatever country you choose, you will do research on the social aspects of it, the social classes and the structure. You will talk about what type of government it has. You will talk about the innovations, inventions, technology, what unique discoveries they have to this country. You'll talk about the culture. We'll talk about some of this today too, what culture is. And then you'll talk about the economy. What are the main exports and imports? I've provided you 2 student samples. The first one is done by a student who was a freshman last semester. You can do yours digitally the way he has, or you can do it on paper with art at your own home. All of that is acceptable. Here is the worksheet that you'll receive that shows a template. By all means, you can use that template, or like I said, you can do it by hand. Once you complete that, you will be done with today's lesson. Okay, boys and girls? Today's lesson is on SPICE, bias throughout history, finding out the social, political innovations, culture, and economy of a particular country or early civilization. All right, I'll see you in a few minutes. Have a blessed day.